Hi guys, and welcome to today's tutorial slash guide. Today gonna go through the different clubs that we are playing with in the game. I'm gonna talk about all from drivers to wood down to sandwedge and going through basically all the clubs. Then I'm going into game. I'm gonna show you my bag and talk about how to set up the best bag. So we start by saying that if you haven't followed my stream yet, please do it. You can find it at shou.tv/Tommy1234. Follow it and I will be happy. On YouTube, subscribe to it please. You find it by searching on Golf Clash Tommy on YouTube. There you can also see my other tutorials and you can also see my latest streams on YouTube. So, what can we say about the different clubs? I get so many messages from people sending me pictures of their bag and asking me what's the best club in the different for the different tool and stuff like that. And of course, the clubs are really important. It the best way with the clubs is to find the clubs that you are familiar with, that you get familiar with, and then stick to it. But of course, it's not good that you get familiar with a club that you know that you want to change out when you go up in tools. So I'm gonna start by looking at the drivers. You have some different drivers, and we going from the top. Of course, you have the beginner driver, and that's not interesting. You have the rocket, and here you can see the different squares mean upgrade cost, upgrade cards, power, accuracy, topspin, backspin, curl, ball guide. So this chart is basically done so you could go through it and you could just see for each level how the club will look. So the rocket is actually the first club that you use when you start as a beginner player. Basically the first drive you get in a chest is the rocket. And the rocket isn't a driver that you want to be using. You want to be using the extra mile for basically all the tools until you come up a bit, and I'm gonna explain why. And the extra mile that you can see, you have a lot of power. You have 220 yards as a start, and then it grows up to 236, who is max. And if we talk about the levels that are mostly used is level 4, 5 and 6. And here you can see you have 226 yards. You will in that case have some top spin. 45 top spin, 50 top spin level 5 and 50 top spin level 6. And that's really good, and that's the club that you want to play with and want to get some cards to. You also have the big topper as a club, and that's a club where you have maximum top spin, but you don't have much power at all. Big topper is a club that you can say are actually fun to play with if you play a friendly or something, because the ball will go nuts while it hits the ground, but it doesn't. If you get the big topper in your shop, you shouldn't be buying it for 500 gems. It ain't worth it. The quarterback is a club that have less distance. It starts at 197 yards. It's basically the shortest. It's the rocket, but then it's the shortest club. You get so many cards for the rocket, the quarterback, sorry, and the quarterback ain't being okay until you reach level 10, because then you get some front spin that you can use. The quarterback I shouldn't recommend to use if you have the extra mile, but otherwise it's an okay club for the lower tools. The rock, I have never myself used the rock. I think it's a really bad driver, and I think the extra mile, yeah, is the better one. If you can see here, maximum, the rocket is a rare club, and you see it has 226 yards as power, and then it just have 47 in front spin. And if we go back to the extra mile, you can see that you have more yards at level 4 extra mile than the rocket level 8. Thor's hammer is actually a good club if you get it to level 4. If you get it to level 4, you have 229 yards, and then you will have some backspin and some topspin to play with. But as it is for all epic clubs, it's really, really hard to get some cards. The Apocalypse is the club that everybody wants to get. It's an awesome club, and it's an epic club, and it's really, really hard to get cards for it. And that's why you can see people posting on Facebook when they get that club, because it's really rare. And it's actually good from the beginning, but it starts at level 3 and level 4 to be really good. So, to sum up the drivers, the extra mile is the club that you want to be using. It will be the club that you probably have for a long time if you don't have luck with the Apocalypse and get so many cards for it. Me myself have the extra mile in level 7, and it works really, really good. And the thing for the difference between the extra mile and the Apocalypse is basically the curl. You can curl it like crazy with Apocalypse almost from the start, but the extra mile hasn't got that much curl. So we're going on to the woods, and here we got some difference. We will start from the beginning. The Horizon. I don't think you get some topspin with the Horizon, but you don't have any backspin, and I would definitely recommend to have a wood when you have some backspin. The Viper doesn't have any topspin, but it has some backspin, and the Viper is a club that you are using. It's between the Horizon and the Viper on the lower tools. The Big Dog is a club that have some distance, and that's really good. It doesn't have that much backspin that you want to as a wood, but when it comes up to level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, it's a really good wood, and it's actually something that you want to have in mind to using the Big Dog, or in that case the Sniper or the Cataclysm. The Hammerhead is a club that people are using at the lower tools. It's kind of easy to get in a chest to get some cards for it. It's not a club that you wanted to have on the higher tools, because it ain't that good. It all depends on how high levels you have on the Big Dog, the Guardian, or the Sniper. The Guardian, the best thing with the Guardian is that you have almost maximum backspin from the start. And as I said from the beginning, with your wood, you should be having some backspin, because you come in situations where you want to land on green, and then it's easier to have some backspin. And the Sniper is my club, the club that I'm using. It costs a lot to upgrade it, but it's well worth it. I shouldn't recommend using the sniper until it is at least level 6, level 7, and that's because you don't have the length at the sniper. You will have the accuracy and you will have the ball guide that helps you a lot, and you will have some front spin and some back spin. But when it comes up to level 8 or level 9, level 10, then it gets really, really good. So I'm using the sniper. It's easy to get cards for it. It's expensive, but if I would be able to upgrade it with my coins, I should do it. The Cataclysm is the word that you want to get, but it is basically the same as the Apocalypse. It's really rare. It's really hard to get cards. I have been playing over 3,000 games, and I haven't got it to level 3. You shouldn't switch until you have it in level 3 at least. Depends on how high you have the other woods, but the club doesn't get better than the other woods until level 3. And in level 4 and level 5 it will be deadly. And the thing with the Cataclysm is that you get the length with the club, and you also have a good front spin, and you will also have good back spin, and maximum curl, and that's really, really good. So wait until level 3, level 4, and of course it depends on how high levels you have on the other woods. So just summing up the woods, I would as first choose between 3 woods. It's the sniper, the big dog, and the guardian. And that depends on what tool you're playing. If you need length, that's the big dog. If you need something in between, it's between the sniper and the guardian. Or if it's some tool with hard greens, it should be the sniper because of the ball guide. And as you could hear, I didn't mention the Cataclysm because it will take a while for you to get it. But of course, when it gets to level 3 or level 4, you should be using the Cataclysm. Going on. Long irons, guys. And there I'm not going through everybody because there are so many. But I'm going through 3 of them. And that's the Backbone, the Goliath, and the Tsunami. The Backbone is the first club you will unlock as a long iron. Maybe not everybody, but most of the people who play get Backbone, and you will get a lot of cards for it. And that's the club that you want to start with. Then, when you get upgraded in the Goliath, at least to level 4, then you should be using the Goliath instead. And I think it's all about the ball guide. And if you can see, you have level 6 backbone, you have 2.9 in ball guide, and also level 7. And you have for the Goliath in level 4. At the Goliath you also have some front spin, you have some back spin, and you definitely have some length, and that's important. So the Goliath, change to that when you get it to level 4. And then you have the Tsunami. It's the rarest club to get, and you will basically from the start have max top spin and max back spin, and that's of course really good. But the thing with this club is that you don't have any ball guide. You see you have 1.2, 1.4, 2, 2.2, 2.2, and I shouldn't recommend to use that club actually. Many people think that's the club to use, but I believe that the Goliath will suit its purpose. So use the Goliath. That's the thing as a long iron. Don't don't upgrade or buy any of the other clubs. It's not necessary. The Goliath is the club to use when you come up on the higher tools. Otherwise, it's the backbone and maybe the Saturn on the lower tools until you get the Goliath in level 4. Short iron, I will not talk about everybody here either. I will talk about the thorn and the hornet. And it actually stands between those clubs, what club that you wanted to play with. The thorn, everybody knows that that's my baby. I really love it, and that's basically because of the backspin and the good ball guide, and that gets the higher you get your club. The hornet is also a good club, but when I choose the short iron and basically any other club, I check first of all, I check backspin, ball guide as my two biggest things, and the thorn has better backspin than the hornet. Every level, and so I think the thorn, but I see people using the hornet as well, and that's fine. And I can say like that it's depends on what you're familiar with. If you're familiar, then I'll play with the hornet from basically the start. Continue with it. I have played with the thorn for a really long time. And actually, the claw is it's also a club that you will have from the beginning, and that is a club that you will be using maybe on the lower tools, the claw or the runner. But switch it out as soon as you get the thorn or the hornet in decent level. Wedge, here it's all about the ball guide. Use the wedge that has the most ball guide, and don't use the down in one. It's just a club for dunking, but it's really bad. So you will basically start with the dart as the first wedge, and that club actually has some okay ball guide. But then when you are able to upgrade the skewer as long as high as possible, you see it costs a lot, but you will get good ball guide. Good ball guide. You already have 3 in ball guide at level 5. The Endbringer is a really good club. You will have amazing ball guide from the start, 3.6. So if you get that in shop, I should recommend you to buy it and try to upgrade it. When you get 4 in ball guide, then it's deadly. The Rapier is the club that I'm using. I currently have it in level 7, so 3.7 in ball guide. And I really like this club. It basically from level 3 is the club that you will be using if you don't have the Endbringer. So wedge, check the ball guide, guys. Don't mind the length, don't mind the other thing, maybe the accuracy, but the top spin and the back spin doesn't matter. Check the ball guide, the wedge with the best ball guide, go with that. Rough iron, you will be using maybe the junglist or the rough cutter as the beginning, or the machete, and I will basically say like that. Play with the one that you seem to feel best for you, and until you get the nirvana, then you will unlock it into 7, and of course, so use the best rough iron with the best ball guide, because you will find yourself in situations around the green when you are able to ship it in, and then it's good with better ball guide than the opponent has, because it makes it easier for you to ship it in. So here it is again, rough iron, choose the one with the best ball guide, and maybe check the length as well, and maybe the top spin and the back spin, but the ball guide is really important. Sandwedge, guys, and here The Malibu is the club that people are using in the lower tools because you can unlock it already at 2 or 3, and as you can see it has amazing ball guide. It doesn't have any spin until we come higher up in the levels, but the ball guide is so important to get close to the pin. The Sand Lizard is also a club that you should have in mind when you unlock it. Upgrade it and you will have some length with that club and some good front spin. Houdini is also a good club. See the ball guide. And the Spitfire is the club that has the most length with it. And I'm currently using that because I need a length from the bunker. So here was all the clubs, guys. This was not maybe a short guide of it, but hopefully you have got some knowledge about the clubs. This club stats chart will be able to see at Golf Clash Elite group, and I will also post it in my on my feed on YouTube. So I'm going in here a bit quick just to show you my bag. And now I have some upgraded clubs, of course, and as you can see I'm using the extra mile as a driver. I'm using the sniper as a wood, the long iron, I'm using the Goliath, and then the thorn as a short iron, the rapier as a wedge, rough iron, Nirvana, and the Spitfire. And you can see here at the drivers, you will have the rocket as a beginning club. Then you will get the extra mile pretty close, and you see I have the apocalypse, but I'm using the extra mile instead because I believe it's the better club for now. The wood, I see I have the cataclysm. I'm waiting for it to go to level 3. I also have the big dog and the guardian, and when I play a tool, when I need some length, I'm using the big dog and the guardian. And as I said, the viper, you will have that in the beginning on the lower tools. Here you go, the Goliath as a long iron. The backbone is the long iron that you will have from the beginning. Switch to the Goliath when you get it to level 4. Short iron, as you can see, it's a small difference between the thorn and the hornet. The accuracy is better than at the hornet, and the topspin as well, but the backspin is better at the thorn, and that's why I'm choosing the backspin. I don't mind, you don't almost never use topspin at a short iron, so that's why I'm using the thorn. The Apache is the club that you basically will start, the runner as well, and I would go for the Apache as the first club. The rapier as a wedge, you will be starting with the dart and try to level up with the skewer as soon as possible to have that before you unlock the end bringer or the rapier. Oh, now I did just shut down the app, sorry. And I'm using the one with the best ball guide because you don't use the wedge out on long with a long fairway shot. You're using it around the green, and then it's mostly important for you to have ball guide when you can see the line in the hole, so it's easier for you to sink those chips. Then you will start with some the rough cutter, the youngest, or the machete. Try to just see which one will be the best for you in the beginning. You will be needed to have some length and some ball guide. It's really important. When you unlock the Nirvana, check it, and that's the club that you basically want to use when it get up in level. At last, sandwedge. The Malibu is a good, the Desert Storm and the Malibu is two good clubs to start with when you will choosing your sandwich. The Malibu has amazing ball guide when it gets up in level, but that also the Sand Lizard is also a club that get you some length. The Houdini is a club that has most of it, but I'm using the Spitfire just for the length. It's the club that goes the longest, and I have some topspin as well, so I go long if I hit a fairway bunker or something like that. And guys, this was the tutorial about the clubs, and you can talk a lot about the clubs, and I will probably do a recap of the clubs further on with more detailed specifications for the drivers and the woods and yeah, all the clubs, so you can get better. If you want me to check out your bag or something like that, send it to me on Facebook. I will take a look and give you my advice. And have in mind, this is my thought about the clubs. This ain't set in stone that it should be your bag as I'm explaining, but I have played all the tools so many times, so I know how the club will suit you. But one thing that you don't have to forget is that you will get familiar with the club. If you have one club from the beginning, you will get familiar with it. You will know how it bounces and how it gets with the spin and stuff like that. And that's a really important ingredients. And that maybe makes you want to use a club that in stats are worse, but it makes you feel better while hitting with it. So think about it closely before you change a club. Don't just go on stats, go on the feeling as well. And guys, I want to thank you for listening and watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, feedback, please send it to me on Facebook or post a comment here on YouTube. Follow the stream, chew.tv/Tommy1.1234. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, search for Golf Clash Tommy, and I will wish you a lovely day.